back to my channel. Today is a quick class to help you feel better in your low back. Anytime you have some tightness, maybe you've been sitting, maybe you've been traveling, maybe you just slept weird. This class is just a quick way to unravel and get you standing taller and feeling better. So we'll start standing. We're not folding down. Think of more like a candy cane. So your head will start to drop, and depending on your flexibility, it may be around your hips or it may be around your knees. But what we're focusing on here is actually pressing the navel up and rounding through the back instead of how far down our head goes. So if you do Pilates, this will be very familiar. If not, we'll do this again seated. So just do the best you can here. So you're pressing the navel up and the head drops. You can bring a bend to your knees. This isn't about the hamstrings or the legs. And then slowly keep pressing the navel up, round yourself all the way up. And again, starting with the crown of the head, start to dive forward, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, bending the knees when you need to, pressing the navel up, and then rolling back up. 2 more like that. On your own, crown of the head goes down first. Pressing the navel toward the back of the spine, and then eventually up towards the ceiling. The head is relaxed. And then pressing and rounding up. 1 more time. Curling down. Pressing the navel up, rounding through the back. And roll all the way up. Nice. So the next thing we're going to do is come right into our pigeon pose, which is going a bit rogue, I know, but when I'm tight in my low back, it usually has something to do with some movement or exercise that I did in my hips. So we'll start on the left side. Left knee comes forward. And if your foot is closer to your body than it normally is, that's fine. We're used to doing this more towards the end of class. So just settle down. If you need a prop under that hip, use a prop. And we're gonna just fold down straight away, not wanting to bring any tension into the low back. But bring your forearms out in front of you and think like a Sphinx pose. So press your hands down and pull the chest forward here instead of rounding and collapsing. You want to think of pressing that left hip back behind you as you pull the chest forward, creating length in that low back as you open up the hip. Relax your head and neck. Let's not move the tension upward. Take a few deep breaths here. So I can already feel some unwinding happening, some space being created. And maybe it's different in your body. Don't worry, we'll move through several ranges of motion for the spine, and hopefully we get into what's causing your tightness. And then start to come up. You can go ahead and roll over onto that hip. I'm gonna spin around so my back isn't to you. And bring the right leg out wide. The left leg is still bent in towards the body. You're gonna rotate the chest towards that right knee. And then again, heart forward. So think sternum towards your toes. And it's not about how far you fold forward. I can already feel this along the left side of my low back. And this is a muscle that tends to be really tight in my body. And so again, you're thinking of left hip rooting down, pressing down as your chest lifts and drives at a diagonal from that hip. And start to come back up. We're going straight to the right side now, so you can start to bend the right knee, send the left leg back behind you, lift the hips up, and then again start to fold forward, driving the chest forward and pressing the hip back behind you. And I really enjoy the release I get from this pose when I do it really early on, both in my day and in my practice. It really seems to unravel a whole bunch of stuff for me, and everything else kind of feels more fluid. And even if I come back to it at the end of my practice, when I start my practice here, I already feel like I've practiced. Does that make sense? Like there's already a liberty and a freedom that has come into my body. And everything else just feels like extras. It feels like an additional support. And start to walk the hands in, come up, roll over onto that right hip. Your left leg will stay out wide. Right leg stays curled in towards the body, and then turn over that left leg. You'll start to walk the hands again at a diagonal. So you're thinking of right hip down and chest up and towards the corner of the room, as if you're trying to get your heart to touch the where your wall meets your ceiling, right? And I guess that's very dependent on where you are in your room. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking of. I can see the corner here, and I'm trying to press and lift up as I press my right hip down. And being intentional, especially on this side, because I'm not quite as tight on this side. So thinking about how I'm moving my body and where I'm positioned, because I don't have as much sensation to dictate that for me. And start to come back up. Excellent. So, like I said, we're going to do that spinal curve again, that candy cane shape. This time we'll do it seated. So, you can start with your knees bent. If you are really flexible in your hamstrings and in your back body, you can go ahead and start with your legs extended. There's the option to work your way up. I'm going to start with my knees bent because I am not flexible in my hamstrings. And so again, you're going to sit up tall. Think of lifting up through the shoulders, lifting up through the sternum, and then pressing the belly button back. So you will fold a little bit, right? You'll think of like shoulders towards hip bones and belly button towards your spine, if that makes sense at all. So obviously those things can't happen, but think of curling this part of the body to touch this part of the body, and then this part of the body to touch this part of the body. So it's like you're becoming a two-dimensional character here. And then use your core to lift yourself back up. And again, shoulders fold down as if you could just fold yourself in half from the bottom rib. Maybe that's a better description. And back up. Option 2, straighten the legs now. And again, we're not folding forward. Resist the urge to get your head lower. You want to think again of creating a fold right here, right at the top of your yoga pants, if you have yoga pants on. And lift up. Reach, press your spine back. And lift up. Last time. And reach up. And then from here, I'm going to keep my knees bent. Actually, because I don't want this to get too much into the hamstrings. You are now going to bring the crown of the head towards the knees, but I want this to be really relaxed. We're not pushing, we're rounding through the spine. And if you prefer here, instead of doing this, a really nice thing would be to do a plow pose right now. Instead of this, because actually having the gravity against you is really nice. It's not accessible in my body today. I already know that from how this feels. But if you're feeling fine and it feels accessible, go ahead and reverse this by bringing the legs up and over. You can also use a wall to help you. I just know that it's probably not a great idea for me today. And then round and curl up. We're going to make our way onto our backs. So just bringing in a little bit of our other two spinal movements. I'm not doing extension today or back bending just because I am very tight in my low back and I think it's too much. But you have your spinal movements, which are flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and rotation. So forward folding, back bending, side bending, and then twisting. Today we will be doing everything but the back bending. So with that being said, here's our lateral flexion. We'll pick the hips up, scoot them over to the right, and then you want to send your feet towards the opposite corner of the mat, so the left corner of the mat. And then I like to grab opposite elbows, and as much as you can, bend the shoulders over to the left as well. So this is called Banasana or Banana Asana. You can think of making a crescent moon with your body or whatever C curve feels right for you. And you can cross one ankle over the other. So you can do this. That's too much for me today. Again, I'm really tight. Or you can take the left leg, the inner leg, and cross it over. I prefer this in my practice just because it creates more space in the left side of my body. I have a relatively short torso, so these side bends tend to get really tight really fast for me. But try both ways, see what works for you. Cross the legs, start by bending the knees. Slowly bring everything back to center. Pull the right knee into the chest. Your left leg extends out long, and then cross the right knee over to the left. Reach the right arm out and look over that right shoulder. already feeling quite a few pops and cracks, which means something got opened up today. And back to center. Moving straight to the other side, press into the feet. Scoot the hips over to the left. Your feet will extend over towards that top right corner of the mat. Arms reach up and over, grab opposite elbows. And then again, you can cross one leg. And uncross the ankles, bend the knees. Slowly bring everything back through center. Extend the right leg out long, left knee comes into the chest. Cross over towards the right. And then you can look over that left shoulder. And come back to center. Pull the knees into the chest. Curl the head up towards the knees and then press the knees away. So rounding through the back again. And make your way all the way up to seated. I hope this class left you feeling better in your low back, and I look forward to seeing you again on your mats really soon. Thank you so much.